Ariel here to shake the matrix, expand our minds, and make us all think. How are you guys all doing this grand morning? Let me send a couple of little invites, and we're going to be good to go. All right. Well, we've got some good things to discuss this morning, and I think that no matter what time you're watching this, that it's going to impact you. And we've all been through these kinds of things in our lives. So today I want to talk about walking in the monad through the storms. Be in the eye of the storm. So, take a deep breath with me for a second. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. Put your hand on your heart and say, the body and mind, soul, the fallen mindset, the broken matrix. We say, deactivate. We say the mind and being of the divine. God, we say to the mind and the body and the being of Creator, the divine spark, fully activated, fully on. We want to talk about walking in the monad through the storm. You know, tonight I want to speak to everyone who has ever felt the storm rise against you in life. You know what I mean. I'm sure you've been there. You know, that moment when people misunderstand your heart. You know, when they frame your character through their own fear. You know, when they accuse you of things that are not even true. And when the noise of humanity turns toward you and demands you to become smaller. You know, angrier, less true. What are you going to do? What do? You stand. You know, you remain. You walk in the monad. For those of you just joining, what we're discussing is talking about what to do when you're faced with the storms. You know, the ones who, I want to talk to the ones specifically who, you know, I want to speak to those ones that everyone who has ever felt the storm rise against them. You know what I mean, right? You know, that moment when people misunderstand you, right? And misunderstand your heart, when they try to frame your character through their own fears even. You know, when they accuse you of things that are not even true, remotely. Hello. And when the noise of humanity turns towards you and demands you to become smaller, angrier, less true, what do? Let me tell you. You know what you do? You stand. You remain. You walk in the monad. You know, because there comes a point where the outer world cannot be managed by force. I'm way out in the desert. The only power left is your center. The only storm, you know, all that's left is you. The only power is left is you. And the storm may even rage. People may even accuse. Systems may even distort. Crowds may even misunderstand. But none of that has to determine who you become. You see, there's a place in you untouched by it all. And see, that place, that beautiful place is the soul. That place is the witness. That place is the monad. Thanks. And if you remain there, you can survive anything. You know, to face the storm, to be the eye of the storm, and to know that nothing can truly destroy us. Let's talk about the body first. See, let me be clear about what happens when you're targeted. I mean, this is not just words. It's not just social media, not even just gossip. I mean, this is pressure on your entire system. Do you know what science shows us exactly what even happens to our nervous system? How it lights up, the amygdala fires, stress hormones flood, and heart rates jump, breath shortens, chest tightens, focus narrows. But see, your body enters survival even when the threat is only social. See, that's why people crumble under false accusations. Not always because they're weak, not always because they're guilty, but because their body gets hijacked and they lose it. Thank you very much. You know, so what the storm hits first, right? The first battle is not with people. Your first actual battle is with your own nervous system. Can you breathe through the tightening? Can you stay present when the panic wants to pull you under? Can you regulate when everything inside you wants to react? See, that's where power begins. Awesome. Grab me a cup while you're at it. Because if your body stays flooded, your discernment dies. Do you know that? Your emotions get hijacked and your clarity vanishes, and now you're working in panic. But if you become consumed by the attack, then the attack owns your consciousness. And that's exactly what the storm wants. It's there to cause that. It's there to make you lose your stance. Projection is the real story. You know, psychology reveals a second layer of projection. People accuse others of what they cannot face in themselves. And the shadow needs somewhere to live. The pain needs somewhere to land. Anger is a chain. Only by detaching yourself can you be free. That's so true. You see, the shadow needs somewhere to live, right? And the pain needs somewhere to land. But so they put it on you, but you become the screen, not because you're guilty, because you're visible, different, clear, honest, unwilling to conform. See, clarity disrupts confusion, and truth disrupts fantasy. Stillness disrupts chaos. So instead of being understood, you're managed, labeled, attacked. When that happens, the human heart screams to be seen. He wants our intentions known, our sincerity recognized, our truth affirmed. But not everyone can see clearly. Some meet you from fear, not truth. And some meet you from wound, not wisdom. And some meet you from distortion, not presence. And if you don't understand projection, you'll carry blame that was never yours. We call it philosophy under pressure. See, philosophy has always known this truth. You know, the Stoics taught control, that what you can, release what you cannot. And you cannot control misunderstanding. You cannot control accusations. You cannot control the crowd. But you control your response, your integrity, and your character. Character is not revealed in comfort. Character is revealed in pressure. And when life is easy, when applause flows, when everyone agrees, anyone can shine. Anyone. But oh, when your name is twisted, when your motives are questioned, when integrity costs you, that's when character shows itself. And character is never a performance. Character is what remains when the stage is empty. you know, and nature's a perfect lesson. That's why I love nature. I love going to nature because nature teaches this without words. A tree doesn't stop being a tree when the wind rages. A mountain doesn't panic when clouds gather. The desert doesn't apologize for its silence. And the ocean doesn't lose depth because the surface turns. Storm is weather, not identity. Pressure reveals roots. Chaos reveals center. Noise reveals what endures. See, the desert experience for me, it strips everything false. No decorations, no performance, no pretense. Just you and the truth. In that silence, you learn survival isn't always loud. You know, sometimes it's patient, sometimes it's breath, and sometimes it's simply continuing. See, Gnostic's wisdom sees the world as distortion, veils over truth, forgetting over remembering, and people trapped in appearance, consciousness over clarity, accusation over evidence, crowd over source, but the awakened soul remembers. See, there is a deeper center, a hidden spark, a divine origin, something the world cannot own. And that is the monad, the one, the singular center, the undivided self. Walking in the monad means remaining whole when everything tries to fracture you, not becoming many selves to please many voices, not half-truths to survive social pressure, not fragmented to fit the broken room. One center, one truth, one light. So what do you actually do? You regulate first. Breathe deep. Slow the system. Ground the body. Don't internalize every accusation. Not every voice deserves space in your mind. Not every projection deserves agreement. What kind of soul do I choose to be right now? You know, right action, clear speech, firm boundaries, without hatred, without collapse, without performance. Return to the center, again and again and again. The center is a practice, not a destination. See, the deepest freedom comes when you step from the wounded narrator into the observer. Inside the story, everything feels personal. As an observer, you see patterns, current, larger shape. And this is happening. But this is not all that is happening. They say this, but this is not my being. This is storm. You know, and I am I. And that awareness builds resilience, and you stop performing for survival, and you live from essence. See, the body as sacred ground. It says, don't neglect the body. Attack lives intense, shoulders clenched, jaws, racing heart, and broken sleep. But the body holds trauma when the mind moves on. So walk earth, drink water, let your feet touch the ground. And let the body know we are safe enough to stand down. Body and soul are companions, not enemies. Love that holds boundaries. This isn't passivity. This you can love without naivety. You know, you don't have to be naive to love. You can set boundaries without hatred. You can walk away without collapse. You can speak truth without brutality. Compassion doesn't mean compromise. Peace doesn't mean denial. Mature power holds both open heart, firm spine. See, the storm as a teacher, you get to sit there and be that ground. You get to have that open heart. You get to have that firm spine. See, the storm wants you to forget. Forget your strength, your origin, your clarity. But the monad remembers. And sometimes the stripping is sacred. Life removes false foundations, exposes false alignment, creates space for deeper truth. See, the storm reveals what endures final stand. When humanity rises against you, when character is challenged, when accusation becomes atmosphere, you don't become what they are. You don't fracture because others fracture. You don't collapse because weather turns severe. You don't surrender, center to prove innocence. You remain whole. You remain still. You remain clear. You walk in the monad through the storm. Because the storm may pass through. Because the monad, you walk in the monad through the storm. And the storm doesn't own you. Because the storm may pass through your life, but it never defines your soul. You see, to face the storm is to be the eye of the storm and to know that nothing can truly destroy us. That's the path. That's the center. That's the way through. That's the monad. That's it. I am that I am. And peace and love. We'll see you guys next time.